1,500 sets remaining. It's not yet 2 o'clock in the afternoon out here on the East Coast. So what are ice plants? Well, I want you to think of it in terms of, this is your problem solution planning. This is what you'll plant in areas where nothing seems to want to grow. Craggy areas or rocky soil. Instead of using ground cover like mulch or in the South pine needles, this becomes your living ground cover. And our price is absolutely amazing. We were able to do something similar last year from the folks at Roberta's, but it came down to be about $5.63 a plant. This year's price is $3.07 a plant. And what you see in these beautiful colors, because we've got 6 champions that we saw before, we've got 3 colors that are brand new. The Walline family that bring us Roberta's unique flowers and plants went as far away as South Africa and to the mountains of Japan to bring us something different. Devin, how are you? Welcome back.
Great.
It's been a busy day for you
Sure
folks.
has. It's been a great day.
For some people, they've never heard of ice plants, they've never seen them.
Yeah.
But for 5 months out of the year, almost half the entire calendar, you get flowers like this. And in the dead of winter, where everything else is brown, you'll have this gorgeous, succulent, true green.
Evergreen year round.
So what is an ice plant and what is a succulent?
Well, this is our 18-piece ice plant ground cover collection. And basically, ice plant, it's the ultimate problem solver as a ground cover, because this is going to replace your mulch. This is going to smother out your weeds.
Yeah.
It's going to replace the gravel. It's going to slow down erosion. And as you said, this is garden planting season. So start by planning on not ordering any mulch and planting this ice plant, and enjoy these gorgeous varieties that come from all over the world, including this magenta Cooperi, which has these bright magenta flowers that will bloom for you for 5 to 6 months every single year. Then you have this yellow Basutoland, which comes from South Africa. These are bright, starry, brilliant colors. No other ground cover that we've ever come across has flowers that are this bright, that bloom for this long, that grow this fast. That's why it's our today's special value. Then you have the Jewel of the Desert Topaz. I mean, Jewel of the Desert Topaz is a pretty good name because they look like jewels in your garden, sparkling from when the sun shines to when the sun sets. For
So
about
they don't
5
open
to
and
6.
close, they're there
Yes.
all day for 5 months.
They will open in the morning and close in the evening time.
Nice.
Yeah, and then you have the fire spinner, which is one of the hottest plants that is in the garden industry right now, but you won't find it anywhere else. This is brand new out of South Africa, and you know that's what Roberta's does. We find them, but you can rest assured that they're going to be easy to grow. Then you have this Jewel of the Desert Garnet, which is also bright and brilliant, and all of these varieties, 6 of the varieties are returning all-star varieties that you guys loved and adored last year. 3 are brand new this year.
Devin, there's nothing here that looks like ice, but they're called ice plants for a reason.
Yeah.
These are one of the hardiest plants that Mother Nature has ever created. They're good in temperature ranges down to what?
Down to negative 15 degrees.
That's
You can
amazing.
plant this right in the earth, and this is going to replace your mulch as a living mulch that never goes away. This is perennial, yes, but it's also evergreen, which means you can dig out the snow in the middle of February. Your grass won't be looking so good, your mulch won't be looking so good,
But
but
these will.
this is what your ice plant's going to look like. And then starting in the end of spring all the way to the first frost, you're going to have these gorgeous flowers.
Let me kind of go through the story again, because I've known your father now for better than 20 years. There's an area on our farm that has just been problematic. It's been a nightmare for us. When we moved in, there was an old ancient pond that had been dug back in the 1800s. And it's got a big berm on it, and there was nothing that was holding that soil back. It was dirt when we moved in. So I planted grass. But the problem is it's such a vertical slope that it's almost impossible to cut with a hand mower.
Yeah, totally.
And I was trying to find something that we could put there that would be attractive and look right. His father, Kevin, said, you've got to try these things. They're called succulents. They're ice plants. And I went, I'd never heard of them. So we put those in last year, and we have big boulders in that area too. You think about mulch. Mulch is gardening with death. Yeah. Mulch is trees that have been crushed up and shredded. For people in the South, it's their pine needles.
It's a waste of time and money.
We've gone through this evolution. And I mentioned earlier when you and I were talking, the idea of a modern yard is still really kind of new in American history.
Yeah.
People didn't have grassy land. And then the idea of using mulch, that came about. Now this is the new evolution of adding life to those problematic areas.
Yes, and this 18-piece collection is designed to be that one-time makeover for you in your garden, because each one you're going to receive 18 plants just like this. That's 9 varieties, 2 of each variety. Now this plant is going to grow and expand 20 inches in diameter. Now
that becomes that quickly.
This plant in Dan's hand is only about 12 inches in diameter, and it's only about 3 months old. Give it another 2 months, and this will have doubled in size. So imagine, you can have a standard 1.5 foot wide border that's 25 feet long, or if you want to think of in mass terms, replacing that mulch, 40 square feet, which is 2 of these tables that you'll see.
Take a look there. People are now doing what is called hardscaping, where you're putting out more boulders, more rocks, and they're beautiful, but they're stark and they're cold by themselves.
Yeah, and a lot of plants can't thrive in that condition because the soil is generally not that great, and they need to be drought tolerant, which is why these succulents are perfect. You can see along the gravel or in these stone walls, these will grow through the cracks and crags and up in your gravel and spread throughout, and they're drought tolerant, meaning you don't, after you plant them, you want to obviously water them right when you plant them.
Right.
But after that, you don't even have to touch them. Mother Nature's rain will be enough to have flowers like that for 5 to 6 months every single year.
They're little sponges. They're called succulents. You'll see in the greenery that they're just plump. They're fat with liquid. They're gorgeous. Barbara phones from Indiana. Barbara, what part of Indiana?
Indianapolis.
Hey!
Oh, nice.
Barbara, I don't know if you know this or not, but the entire Walline family is from just south of where you and I grew up, because I'm also from Indianapolis.
Well, I'm from Zionsville.
From
which
Zionsville,
is
yeah.
Indianapolis.
Okay.
So, what do you think of this?
I think it's neat. A couple of years ago, we had a really bad drought here.
I remember.
And I
You
lost all the ground cover I had in my front flower bed and in my rock garden. And I'm hoping that I can replenish it with this.
You certainly can.
Barbara, when they call them succulents, we'll show you what we're talking about here. They hold moisture like you would not believe.
You see, I'm just crushing. I have some of the foliage in my hand. I'm crushing it, and you can see all the juice. This is water that the foliage holds in its.
It almost waters itself.
Exactly. That's why
once
you can.
it's established.
Yep.
Exactly.
So where will you use it? Just in your front beds as you were talking about?
I have a rock garden also.
Okay.
Perfect.
And I'm going to use it in there. I'll split it between the 2 beds because they're both pretty good size.
Yes, that's exactly
I'm
what
curious,
you
do you have to deadhead the flowers on this?
Certainly
No.
not.
That's something that's really important. That just cut a good 90% of your labor on that rock garden because you don't deadhead at all.
These will be continually blooming
Yep.
from the end of spring all the way.
And there's a lot of different colors too.
Yes.
We've never done this many
9
colors.
varieties. They're all gorgeous.
These grow naturally up in some of the higher elevations in the mountains of Japan and also in South Africa. It is a real rarity to find these at any local gardening centers, and if you can find them, you can't find them in any quantity at all. These folks at Roberta's are really kind of spearheading bringing this look to America.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I'll have something nobody else in the neighborhood has.
Yeah.
Certainly.
And just between you and me, it's kind of fun to be able to do business with Hoosiers like you and me, huh?
Yeah.
They're based out of Indiana.
Yeah, don't they have a store in Shelbyville and one in, is it Walton or?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Walden?
exactly where we're located,
Yep.
in Waldron.
Okay, because I'm going to try to visit the.
Well, we
actual
don't
stores,
actually, we
too.
don't have a store there. That's just where our greenhouses are.
Yes.
so.
By the way, Barbara, what you just purchased and you paid $55.28 for, they have on their website at $108.
Wow.
So it's a phenomenal savings. That's why so many people are picking up more than
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Then
you
you
can
got 50 feet of
transform
board.
your entire garden with this one collection.
And they will ship to you, and your shipping is included. They will ship to you at the right time according to Indianapolis weather and when they should be planted, okay?
Okay. Are
Beautiful.
they labeled what their colors are?
Well, most of them, if you can see this little guy, he's actually starting to produce flowers in the winter season. So many of your varieties will be blooming when you receive them. So that should give you
Okay.
a pretty good indication of which ones is which.
What I did last year, Barbara, is again, very rocky, bouldered areas. I just kind of closed my eyes and reached into the flat, pulled one out, planted it, reached in, get another one, and it just creates this mix of color, and it worked beautifully. I can't wait for mine to start blooming
Oh,
again.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Not
That's
too
another
long
thing I
away.
liked about it too, the fact that it'll have a long blooming season.
5 months,
Yeah.
good. They'll be on their way. You'll probably receive them sometime in May. Is that fair?
Yeah. 5/13, I believe,
Probably,
is the date that they
yeah,
gave me.
April, May.
April or May. Okay. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you. It's good
Thanks.
talking to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Now, we have fewer than 10,000 sets that remain. We started with roughly 50,000 sets. The zone map, and these numbers never really meant much to me. Tell me
Yeah.
again how winter hardy these are, because they're called ice plants for a reason.
Yes, these are winter hardy down to zone 5, which is approximately -15 degrees. So as long as you're zone
That's
5 or
crazy.
above, plant them right in the ground. The only regions of the country that would be exempt would be,
Far northern.
far northern areas, which you can plant them right in your pots and enjoy them equally as well. And we always have our Gotta Grow guarantee. When you're happy, so are we. That's why we assure your satisfaction for perennials for a year, annuals, tropicals up to 90 days. So just give us a call.
Now, what you saw on your screen with this carpet of color and in a very extensive color season, 5 months, think of what it looks like outside of your front door right now. We are still in January. We need color. Would you like to see what they look like in January? It's a carpet of green. Oh, I wish my lawn could look like
I
that in the
know.
summer.
I know,
But this is
exactly.
what they look like in January and
In
February.
the winter. And then in the summer, you have the blankets of color. There's nothing that this plant doesn't do. It's just one of the greatest plants that we've found since we've been at QVC.
I'll tell you something, because I have them by my pond. Right now, we've had so many cold days that I have ice on the pond. But
Yeah.
what we found is late in the fall that I would get up in the morning and I'd go out on the dock and I'd have my cup of coffee and there'd be a little bit of steam coming off the pond and there would be dew on all of these plants and it looked like little jewels.
Yes.
And that was without flowers. And they grow in areas that normally plants don't wish to grow in.
Yeah.
Rock gardens are going to be huge this year. Outdoor hardscaping, where you're using boulders, or you go to your home centers and you get the preformed, almost cinder-like blocks and decorative designs. And they're great for retention walls and things, but they look stark, they look cold.
Well, yeah, these are a succulent. So not only are they winter hardy to -15 degrees, but succulent is a huge buzzword in the garden industry right now.
Yes.
Everyone wants succulents. What is a succulent? Well, succulent means it has its moisture within its foliage, which what that means for you is you're not out watering your plants. You can plant this where the hose doesn't reach and these will still thrive. That's why these are so tough, durable, drought tolerant. If you're worried, maybe you're in an area like California where they're pretty short on water.
And they will be this year, yep.
You don't want sprinklers sprinkling your ice plant. You want to keep these away from that because these don't want it.
They have.
thrive on neglect.
The greenery itself are these plump little fat toddler fingers.
I know.
You know how little babies have little fat fingers? And each one of them contains its own moisture, so it's not counting on a root system or capillary action to pull deep down water upwards.
Yes.
And they hold moisture very well. Now, I watered mine when I first planted them, and my hose wouldn't reach to the pond.
Exactly.
So I just took a sprinkler can, dipped in the pond, would water them for a few days. I haven't watered them since.
Right, but what really makes this collection above and beyond any ground cover collection that we've ever come across is the fact that these will bring you more color with these bright, vibrant varieties. They're gonna last so much longer, giving you flowers 5 to 6 months. The average ground covers will maybe last 4 to 5 weeks.
Exactly.
And they grow so quickly. You can have a border just like that, 25 feet long from one collection this year.
It's funny. When I first saw them, I thought they looked almost English garden-like, but they don't come from England.
No, you know, these varieties, their ice plant is native to South Africa. And so 5 of the varieties that we have are from South Africa, like the yellow Basutoland and this Mesa Verde peach. But then some of the other varieties that we'll be seeing come from Japan, where they're very innovative in the plant industry. They're trying to make varieties of this ice plant, like this Topaz, that are so much brighter and so much more beautiful, that bloom for longer compared to other ground covers. And that is why we've hand selected these varieties for this today's special value, because there's quite simply no other ground cover like these, no other ice plant like these.
There's also no other today's special value from the folks at Roberta's Unique Plants for the entire year. This is it. And we are now down to, what, how many? We're talking about a few thousand sets. 8,000 sets are remaining. We started the day with almost 50,000 sets. People have been picking up multiples. By doing so, you will expand your area that you're going to be able to use these as ground cover. And ground cover as a solution, instead of putting out mulch. Mulch is dead wood.
Dead wood that costs a lot.
Yes, it does. And you have to do it year in and year out. Some people put mulch down in the spring and in the fall. If you live down south in the Carolinas, they use a lot of pine needles instead of mulch. This can get rid of that. And I am still yet to see weeds popping through this.
Or if you have invasive like ivies that you're sick of, plant this. This will smother them out because their foliage is so dense and thick that all you'll have is this gorgeous ice plant 12 months out of the year. No more mulch. Don't worry about your gravel. Your weeds are gone. Erosion, no more.
When they're gone, they're gone. And they will be gone long before we hit 12 midnight tonight. It is right now about 13 minutes after 2 o'clock in the afternoon, East Coast time, and we are down to very small numbers. 41,000 sets have been ordered, 8,000 remain. That means there's about 4,000 people out there, according to what we've seen, because people pick up 2 sets, that are going to be able to take advantage of this amazing offer. Last year, when we offered, and it was a smaller collection, it was $5.63 a plant. This year, $3.07.